Hello, my name's Pumpkin and welcome to the path. Today we are in my forever Minecraft world. I'm standing in front of my lovely bee house that I did last time. I'm going to do a herbology themed greenhouse. This is going to house my botanists. The botanists are a moderate villager. I want it to be a bit magical themed, maybe a bit dark academia, and a little bit Harry Potter themed, seeing as herbology is quite a big thing in that bit. I love all things fantasy, so I'm looking forward to putting a bit more of a fantasy spin on this build rather than the cute cottagecore things I have been making.
So here we are starting a build. I've already put in a basic outline with my shovel and I'm going to go around it with my chosen blocks. I have chosen the white mangrove planks, cypress planks that are from over the biomes we've gone. I've also got cobblestone, stone bricks, mossy cobblestone and mossy stone bricks. I wanted the palette to be mostly grey to make it look aged, but to have some white reminiscent of what colour it may have been when it was new. I obviously love the aged ancient look, and that's what I wanted to go for again in this build. So I start building up my walls for the ground floor. I go just as far as the first floor. This doesn't have a second floor, but it is going to be a very tall build. It may look like it's going to have a second floor, but it's all going to be ceiling. Working on the curve of this building was slightly difficult because once again, game that is mostly squares, trying to make a circle, it's not easy. I've gone round now to make the greenhouse shape, and I've started putting in the pillars where the glass will go in between to make some very tall windows. I'm starting now on the front door where there's going to be a little awning or a porch. This is going to be made mostly out of just bricks, though the awning will be made out of planks. It was difficult to not let the door get lost in this build, so I did end up putting more planks in the cypress wood around it to make it stand out a bit more and make it look a bit bigger. I've now gone in with the basic shape of the awning. This is a bit too tall, but I will fix that very soon. The border of the awning is made out of planks, but the roof itself is stone. As you can see here, the roof is too pitched and it needs to come down a bit, so I use some slabs instead to make it a bit lower and a bit less curved. Much better. I will be now making the circle window that will be on top of where the front door is. I will mirror this at the back of the build as well. My first try the circle was a little too low, so I had to just take it all up again by one block, and that looked much better in my opinion. Now I'm going to make the full height of the second floor here, and as you can see, it is indeed going to be a very nice tall building. So I just go around the outline that I've already made to the height that I would like. Here I am making the awning for the side door. This one I decided to go for just a nice simple step roof. I am now filling in the wall in between the greenhouse and the main circular house and making it to its full height. As I've gone higher up on the build, I've started adding in the prismarine blocks as the roof is going to be green, so I wanted to start bringing in some green accents. I've gone round to make an outline of the roof now with some logs, and I'm making a lip of the roof with the cypress slabs. Now it's time for part 1 of attempting to do this dome roof. That definitely didn't make me crash out. I'm following a picture of a dome roof rather than a tutorial. This was a mistake as I did drive myself slightly insane with it. As you can see, first attempt was atrocious. Let's take that down. Time for attempt number 2. This attempt was slightly more better, but still not what I wanted. But we'll see that in a bit. Yeah, it's kind of curved, so I continue going. I should have just torn it down then, but I was determined to make this work. I start doing the flat part of the roof at the top, of which is going to have a tower on top. Again, it's curved, but it's wonky. She's not great. So after some more crashing out, I go on to attempt number 3, and I go and find a picture of a domed roof, put it into my iPad and actually draw out the grid so I get this perfect. I was not going to be trying this a 4th time, and as you can see, it's working. She's not wonky, she's curved. I could cry. Honestly, I had 5 hours of footage and a lot of that was making that dang roof. So as for the roof, she is coming on now, and the blocks that I've used on this roof was mossy cobblestone, moss, stone bricks, mossy stone bricks, and a bit of prismarine. I've done the front of it now, and that was the back just there in that last clip. I'm now working on the wall that was flat. I'm making that curved, and we're going on to the greenhouse now. I honestly just wanted to get that roof done and move on to another project. And the greenhouse, although was challenging, it was a lot more straightforward and a lot more fun. I put in some brackets there with stairs to frame the windows a bit more so they weren't such a blunt shape. I go in now to make a border, getting ready for the roof of the greenhouse. The first border was a little too shallow, so I made it jut out a little bit more. And now I'm making the frame of the roof. This is just going to be a pitched roof, not too difficult, and it was a welcome relief from the dome roof. And now going in with the roof tile colour, which is going to be mostly the same as the dome roof, just with the addition of willow planks. And these willow planks are from the biomes we've gone. I'm putting the siding on it now, as I have built the front up. As you can see, it's looking very nice. I'm very pleased that it worked out so well. I decided that the side needed a lip on it, and then I did the exact same thing but to the back of the building, and I am very pleased. Now it's time to do the tower on top of the domed roof. This is supposed to be like a little bell tower, but I put a light in it instead. There are the pillars all done. Now I'm going to put in the spire roof. And I was about done with roofs for this day, but it wasn't as bad as I thought, and it worked out really well. Again, I used the same blocks as with the dome roof. I'm making it 3D and doing the exact same thing all the way around the spire, and there she is, looking very good. I decided that the lip was a little bit too far out, and I just took that off. Yeah, much better. And with that, the build is done.
So this is our greenhouse, all completed. I've only done the build as it was a very long build and very complicated. I haven't really done a build of this scale before with a domed roof, and that roof, oh, she did test me. I didn't want to get burnt out on Minecraft, so I decided to just stop at the build itself and do a part 2 for decorating. Later on I will do a talk through all of the decorating that I would like to do, and also some loose ends around my little village that need doing. Let's have a walk around, shall we? This is the front door, and we have some green stained glass in this circular window here. We also have it curving around here to the second entrance. I use cypress wood on this part here, and I think it looks like aged wood, and I like that a lot. Obviously the colour palette again is very rustic, and I wanted to make it look old and worn. Here is the greenhouse. Although it took me forever to do that domed roof, and I really like how it turned out, I must say this is actually my favourite part of the build, how tall these windows are. It really works with this dark academia look I was going for to make these windows so tall. I've put some lanterns up there, and I've put some grass inside for when we build the greenhouse. We have a nice pitched roof here. It was much simpler to do than the domed one, obviously, and I actually really like this style. It wasn't too hard to do when I got the hang of it. I might like to do it again. Ooh, how pretty is that as it transitions into the night? This build, it comes to life at night. I think that's the dark academia style of it. But this is survival mode and I will get attacked, so let's go to the morning. Out where we left off, let's go round the other side. As you can see, I've mirrored the same as the front to the back. I've added in some of these stone stairs on the pillars to make it look like some of the bricks have fallen out over time. Round the back here we have some more green stained glass. I had to make a window here as it looked a bit plain as just a solid brick wall. I mirrored the circular window here From the front, you can see the second entrance. Again, I've used the cypress planks around it, as well as the cypress door. Here we have the front door. I like that I left this bit blank without glass in, as it looks like a nice little alcove. And maybe I'll put some candles in there when it comes to decorating. So let's go inside. As you can see, we have a very big room here. Lots of room to fill, which again was another daunting thing about decorating, with all this space to fill and not have it feel empty. I put in some lights here. These are the swamp lights from Ribbits, the mod Ribbits. Oh, look at the green tinted light coming in through that stained glass. Amazing. After the walkthrough, I will do a walk and talk about what I want to do with the decorating. So I will go through my expectations of that after. This is the greenhouse. I absolutely love how this turned out. Again, the other building was much more complicated to make, but this is my favourite space. It is so lovely. Maybe that is a sign for me that the more simple builds are the more pretty builds. I love that you can see my bee house through there, and when we have this blank space decorated out here, we'll be able to look through the windows at that as well. So, as I said, there'll be a part 2 to this video, which will be the decorating. So let's have a walk and talk about what I would like to do with the decoration. So here, obviously, is a nice big blank space. At some point, this is going to be the more agriculture area. We'll have a farm, animals, etc. And I thought the greenhouse fits that vibe. I will need to put a path through here, going around there to our main part of the village. And I want to decorate a nice wild looking garden around here. Lots of grass, lots of bone mealing, a bit like some of my other builds, but I want this one to be a little bit more intentional. Through here is where the botanist will live. Again, I will make a little counter here like I have with my previous builds, and he will live behind the counter looking like he is selling his plant wares. I'm not too sure what else to decorate in here. I'll have to just make a load of items and see what works out. I'm tempted to download the clutter mod. I'm not sure if it works with my version, but I will update you in part 2 if it has. And just through here is the greenhouse, obviously. I want this to look like a very working greenhouse. So I have lots of planters, maybe some vegetables growing and not just flowers. And I want a little surprise guest to be living in here as well, which I will show you later. From the ceiling, obviously I'm going to need my glowing vines. They always need to be here. If my build doesn't have glowing vines in it, I won't know who I am anymore. So, I did also say that there are some bits and pieces around my village that need finishing off. Just through here, I have a path that needs to be completed. You can see here is where I mapped out a path. You can see where I overscoped with the build, as I thought the path would come around here, but no, the build was much bigger than I was expecting. I need to build a bridge. I have an idea of a bridge with a canopy with lots of flowers on top. We'll see how that works out. Just here on the back of my bee house build, I realised I forgot to put the chimney stack in. I wanted to make a big rickety chimney stack up the back here with a fire at the top to make it look like smoke coming out the chimney stack. So I'll have to finish off that as well. I was thinking of making them out of mud and packed mud bricks. Also, the top floor of my bee house isn't all that decorated, so I'd like to do some more decorating in there also. So with the pagoda here, this build is completely finished, but I would like to take some inspiration of the flowers from here to put in front of the greenhouse with this space to the space that will be over there where the greenhouse is. Our strawberry cow barn is completely finished. That doesn't need anything else doing to it, so we'll leave that build alone. Just in here lives our surprise guest that I would like to live in our greenhouse. And here he is, the Odeon. I think that's how it's pronounced. He looks like a mandrake to me, which I think is very Harry Potter-esque. And having him live in a herbology-themed greenhouse would be very fitting. I need to go find a couple more, I think. I think 3 living in that greenhouse would be pretty cute. So the Odeons are from over Biome Busan, and we'll find them in the allium fields. And I also drop Odeon bowls, which you can cook up. I have also downloaded the Tameable Fox mod. I haven't looked into it yet. I don't know if it works with this version that I have, but I will look into that and maybe we'll have a little pet fox living in there too. So as I said, building this put me on the verge of building fatigue / burnout. So I do want to have a nice easy build for the next one, maybe even the next couple. So please bear with me if they're not all big impressive builds in the next couple of videos coming up. But I must say I am rather impressed with this. I don't really see myself as a big architectural builder in Minecraft. I'm more of a rustic cottagecore, shove a load of grass blocks on anything that looks wonky kind of girl. But this one I think looks almost quite professional. So I am very proud of myself. So that's my plans for the future as well. And I hope you look forward to watching part 2 of this build. Thank you for watching this little pumpkin and this safe space of the internet. I post videos pretty much every week, so if you want to catch some more, why not subscribe? Until then, goodbye.